Hello guys, welcome back to the KP show. We are here after the Asia Cup. It is in the books. India has lifted another trophy, and I think it's a moment of glory for the Indian team and all Indians, regardless of whether you have watched or not watched the match. With that out of the way, we are going to discuss the report card of the Asia Cup, as in how each and every player of the Indian team has performed in this Asia Cup. Our ratings are going to be on the basis of how they have performed, in what situations they have done well, and of course, for guys like Surya Kumar Yadav, we take into consideration his captaincy aspect as well, and like for Sanju Samson, we take into consideration his wicket keeping. So yeah, like based on multi skill aspect, we have given those ratings. One other thing, I'm not going to be giving any ratings from my side because I personally haven't watched all the three India Pakistan games. So, considering that aspect, although I have looked at the scorecards, read the reports, know how the match has been poised, but I felt it's still not fair for me to give ratings because simply I haven't watched the match. Although sometimes you can look at the scorecard and guess what has happened, it is always important that you watch the match and only then talk about it because yeah, sometimes good ball can be hit for a six and a bad ball can result in wickets. So keeping that in mind, we'll let Prateek give all his ratings, and I'll add my bits and pieces from whatever I have seen. And yeah, that's how the theme of this episode is going to look like. Towards the end, we will also discuss how the Asia Cup has panned out for us, keeping in mind the World T20, which is upcoming. And like I've said this repeatedly, and I think we all agree with that, that Asia Cup is, I mean, I don't think it was that big of a tournament, especially considering the quality of the teams that we were facing. But the World Cup is going to be the actual true test. So we are going to be discussing about that as well. So without any further ado, let's start with the ratings. Pratik, I think we should start with the big one, our opener, Abhishek Sharma. What did you think of this Asia Cup?
Yeah, Abhishek Sharma was kind of flawless throughout the Asia Cup. If you see, 314 runs across 7 innings at a strike rate of 200. I think I could not have asked for more. I think this was simply phenomenal. I think only Virat got more runs in a T20 tournament for India in 2016, I guess, or did he? And but the strike rate is like crazy high. I mean, 200 strike rate with the and the conditions at UAE also were not very helpful for the batters. May it be the first or may it be the second innings, as we didn't see the dew that much as the winter hasn't set in so far in this part of the world. And so I'd say 10 on. I'd say a very good performance. I mean, I what can be a room for improvement for someone who has scored so many runs? Maybe the only chink in the armor is that Abhishek has so far not performed in any of the finals that he has played in his career so far. The big finals, like last year IPL final, he also he got dismissed for two or three. I think Star got him in the first over itself in Chennai, and even in the previous one, means in the qualifier one against KKR at Ahmedabad, he got out cheaply. So I think this is something that he might uh, come back to going forward. And I think this is the only place where I think there is a room for improvement. Maybe the mentality or the preparation for a big final, all those things. Maybe he can take some cues from Travis Head on this thing. And I think this is the only thing that is missing for him. Apart from that, he was quite flawless as a batter. Also, couple or three drop catches for him. Maybe that aspect needs to be worked upon as well. So I'd give him a 9 out of 10. Abhishek Sharma.
Yep, I think that's a very good rating for somebody who has done so well in this Asia Cup. I think the gulf, as you mentioned, between Abhishek Sharma and the next best batter of the Asia Cup was so high in terms of strike rate and in terms of runs. So I think that seems to be a fair rating. And as you mentioned, I think with age that will also come. The part where you mentioned about him scoring in the finals, too early. I think we shouldn't tag him with that aspect. I think the same goes for Shubman Gill as well, I believe. So yeah, well, let's go to his opening partner. What were your thoughts on his Asia Cup? I have certain opinion about him. I'll get to that, but we'll first hear your ratings.
Yeah. So before starting, or before I give him a rating, all I'd say is I think we were in unison before the start of the Asia Cup that Yashasvi warranted a place ahead of him in the 11 as well as in the squad as well as in the 11. Coming to this Asia Cup, or even Sanju Samson as an opener did quite remarkable in the T20I. So I think, but we also made a decision that no matter what happens, we'll support him till the end of the Asia Cup. So I think whatever may be the reason, the batting was not up to the standards. And maybe I can say that, okay, he was kind of unlucky two or three times. You can say, like the Sri Lanka game, the Tikshana took a very, very sharp catch of his own bowling. Mostly means those catches don't stick, but if they it stuck that day. Then again, last game, Haris Rauf also took a very good catch. You don't expect that from Pakistan. So I think the batting gods are not happy with him, or were not happy with him in this tournament. That can be a way to look into the things, but there are a couple of dismissals where you would say that that bat pad gap thing is still haunting him a bit. Fahim Ashraf in the game for second game against Pakistan, I think he bowled through that gate, and again the game against Oman, I think, yeah, it was Oman, I think, in 20 in the third group game. There also he got bowled
Yeah.
by a ball swinging through the gate. So I think these are the things that he needs to work on a bit. Also, expected performance from him in the big match, especially in the final. But it seems because the pitch and the conditions were tailor made for him, because the runs were not too much. Just you needed a sane head like a Shubman Gill to stay on the crease for like 10 or 12 overs and the game would have been done. But it didn't happen that way as well. And kind of, as Sunil Gavaskar on air said very clearly, that India is taking it too casually. It's a final, play it like a final, on his dismissal in the final. So I think for that, I'd give him a 4 out of 10. And not very happy with his batting. Could have been much better given the uh, talent he carries, the range of strokes he has. I think uh, India needs to take a call. Not sure whether they would or not, because they have already declared him the vice captain. But I think also Ravi Ashwin said on his review of Asia Cup that it's we should give a chance to Yashasvi Jaiswal to open with Abhishek Sharma going forward. At least try this combination in some games.
I mean, I'm in complete alignment with that. So I mean, I would say I would go I would go out on a limb for TSP as well, and this is what I think most Indian fans always wanted because it was Jaiswal's spot in the first place. So even if you have Sanju Samson, it still makes sense because Sanju Samson had done extremely well in the chances that he got. So it always had to be either a Jaiswal or a Samson along with Abhishek Sharma. So that was the opening combination that I thought. So at that point, it was also tricky that how would you fit all three of them in? Would you push Samson down or that kind of stuff? The conversation was in that direction before BCCI, kind of threw a curveball and changed things by introducing Gill. I think it kind of hampered the balance of the side, which was not right. I mean, so also I want to be fair here. We shouldn't blame the combination change on Gill because it's not his fault. He was selected as an opener, so it should have been a straight swap between him and Samson because he came in as a replacement for Samson. Agarkar would tell you that Samson was a replacement for Gill, and Gill just took his spot back, which is okay. You understand that. But then you either had to give Samson a fixed slot at number five or push him out of the team and have a proper designated number five, number six kind of a middle order batsman. So that didn't happen. And that is not Gill's fault. That is the team management's fault. So you forcefully played Samson three in one of the games. five in one of the games. Some other game he didn't even get to bat. He was pushed almost eighth, ninth position, and he didn't get to bat at all. I think it was the
Sri Lanka game.
uh, Sri
Sorry,
Lanka
not the
game,
Sri Lanka game.
probably.
Bangladesh
No,
game.
no, it's the
Bangladesh.
one. Uh,
Bangladesh game.
I don't remember which game.
It was the
Bangladesh game where
Bangladesh
we
game.
were under
Yeah.
par. Yes, it was the Bangladesh game. We were under par in that game. Yes, Akshar took too much time. He couldn't get the ball away. Yeah, that was the game. So, so yeah, it kind of hampered our combination. So, which is something that we do have to look into. I mean, see, you can get away with all this when you are in a Asia Cup. You can get away with this even when you are facing top teams. Also, I'm not saying that you can't get away, but it's always about doing the things which give you higher probability of win. And I think we are not going with that. So that is something that really needs to be discussed thoroughly. And I think that's actually the biggest aspect that we need to change in terms of looking at the World T20. You have to have a bit of stability on what you want to do. The sad part is we had this stability before, and I don't know why we kind of ruined it going into the Asia Cup. I hope it's all the part of experimentation, and I think we should quickly get back to our original core that we had prior to the Asia Cup. So, I mean, your personal can change, but your strategy overall should not. So that is my only concern with respect to the Asia Cup. But yeah, let's move on to the next candidate on our list. It will be the captain, Surya Kumar Yadav. What are your thoughts?
I mean, as a batter, I think it was the
So
most.
before we move on, sorry, I think we didn't take your rating for Gill.
Yeah, I gave 4 out of 10 because of
Four
the
out of
reasons
10.
that
Okay.
I mentioned. Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah. Let's
for
move on.
yeah, for Surya, I think batting wise, it was the worst show by his standards, may it be an IPL or any multinational tournament that he has played. And that is the most concerning part because this year, and he has been like that. I mean, not even 100 runs in aggregate in this year. And if one inning, I think against Pakistan in the first game, I believe 47 not out. I think he scored. Apart from that, most of them are single digit scores. All the 5 games against England, it didn't come off. Okay, at that time he was carrying some injury in the elbow, I think. But after that, the IPL happened, everything went fine. Then again, the same story. So it's a bit concerning given the age. And also, he in the post-match press conference he said that I'm not out of form, I'm out of runs. So I don't know how to comprehend that. So, anyways, but batting-wise, I think Surya has been very edgy and not looked into his groove, trying too many things to put those out of the ground. Flick the scoop shot that he plays over fine leg, and all those shots. I think he got out twice to that, and I think he is still missing that trick of playing the slow on the slower wickets. If you see his dismissal against Bangladesh, I think Mustafizur absolute slower ball, and he nicks one down the leg side to the keeper. So all these things, I think he, I don't know how to explain it because he's such an experienced campaigner, and I don't think he can get any better with the range of the shots that he already has. So, I mean, it's a bit more about his adaptability, I guess. Not that he doesn't have the shot to play or he doesn't have the power to clear the fields. It's more about the adaptability and the execution, I believe.
I think the slower ball also has been a case of concern for Surya a lot of the times. It's very hard to see why, but he has gotten out to the slower ball so many times in the past. Even when he was in his prime form, let's say a 2020 or a 2021 season of the IPL, when he was in sublime form, almost his peak, right? Even then, I remember clearly in one of the games on a slower wicket in Chennai, he was dismissed by Vijay Shankar of all people on off of a slower ball. So it's something that has kind of gotten rid of him so many times. Uh, you wouldn't go on and say that that is his weakness, but somehow he hasn't been able to pick the slower ball. I think, yeah, that is a aspect to his game. Plus, the form that he's in also doesn't help. Yeah. So what are your ratings for him? And how did you
So,
see his captaincy throughout the Asia Cup?
yeah, the captaincy was kind of spot on if you see the results. But there were points where felt that the bowling rotations could have been better. Like in some of the games, Akshar Patel didn't get a chance to bowl. Like we were discussing that Akshar Patel is the four-over bowler that you actually have because between Akshar Dubey and Hardik, you need to split the 8 overs. So Akshar probably has the higher chance of bowling the 4 overs given there is no dew and we are playing in the UAE. So that is one thing that I felt that Akshar Patel was underused as a bowler a lot. Same goes for Hardik Pandya as well. I could not understand the rotation. He bowls sometimes 2 overs in the power play, then we don't see him entirely. Then we see him again coming back at the death, and that takes a toll on his economy. Because Hardik Pandya, out of all, is not your death bowler. That we have said multiple times during the IPL reviews as well. Because he doesn't have the numbers to bowl at the death. Let's be honest. He goes for a lot of runs. Maybe he picks a wicket or two, one or two, in few of the games, but he goes for a lot of runs at the death. So that is something that I was not very clear about what the plans was, or again if they're experimenting or something. Again, I think they managed Dubey the bowler really well. Slow conditions and also the overs that were given to Dubey were very well thought of. And Bumrah again, I think Bumrah they completely I could not understand. The first three or four, whatever games he played apart from the final, he bowled three on the trot. And I mean, why would you bowl a Bumrah three on the trot? Again, I would say that you take a leaf out of Rohit Sharma's book of captaincy and see how he uses Bumrah, both him and Hardik for the IPL. That you need to know how and understand how Rohit Sharma uses Bumrah in T20 games. Apart from that, I think as a fielder, he was too good. Took all his catches, important run outs, very alert. I think he was the best fielder that we had on the field. This Asia Cup. And yeah, all in all, captaincy was really good. Apart from these two, like underusage of Akshar Patel and Hardik Pandya, and uncertain rotation of Bumrah. So these are the two things. So I'll give him 8 for the captaincy, 3 for the batting. So it will come where somewhere around 4.5. Okay, let's make it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah. Cool. So that's all about Surya. Now let's move on to Tilak Verma. What did you think? The man of the final, you know, did great, scored a magnificent knock in the final, absorbed the pressure, kind of did the Virat Kohli role, and yeah, we didn't let him, didn't let people miss Virat. So, what were your thoughts on his innings?
Yeah, see, Tilak Verma is the star boy, as we refer to him in the Mumbai Indian fan clubs. So Tilak, I think he played one of the most important and most beautiful knocks of his career so far, and maybe in days to come, it will only get amplified. The greatness of this knock in the final, coming in at 20 for 3, and no, I think he came in at 16 for 2. I think Tilak Verma, 16 or 14 for 2. He came in, and from there on, he carried the game to the end and finished it off. I think few of the things that I noticed was really good, and we don't usually get to see in batters nowadays. Maybe you see a Josh Inglis or someone punching the ball off the back foot with a straight bat. It is a very rare talent, and I think Tilak has it. And he scored 2 boundaries of 5 Mushraf in the sixth over with those kind of shots, punching the ball off the back foot with a straight bat. Beautiful to see. Few things, and the pickup shot on the leg side of who it was. I think it was Haris Rauf only. So, and to hit the boundary when it was required, those perfect calculations in a chase, I think hands down, he was one of the most perfect. It was one of the most perfect innings. Okay, you can argue that the strike rate was not high or the target was not high, but keeping the situation in the hindsight, a final against Pakistan where there is so much of outside noise, your team is down to 20 for 3 in such a crucial game. and there come your new guy comes out and just goes so smartly about his game. So that is, I think, we need to applaud about Tilak's performance in the final as well as in the entire Asia Cup. I think there are some quiz like he gets stuck in the middle overs against the spinners. That is something that he needs to work on. Even I feel that, but I think with age it is going to get better because he's only 22 or 23 right now, and with the amount of exposure that he's going to get in the upcoming years, I think he's only going to get better. Only thing I'd say is let him bat three. Don't tweak these positions because in the final also I could not understand. You always talk about a left right, left right, left right, but uh, Abhishek Sharma got out first, so it could have been Tilak at three. But instead, Surya comes out to bat and who is not in the great of form. And again, it puts this team into a position of bother all over again. So I think these things could have been managed a bit well. But that is not up to the player. That is up to the team management and the captain. All in all, I'd say it was a great tournament for Tilak. Second highest scorer for for India, and had a good strike rate as well. And most importantly, the best knock came in the final.
Yep. So that's all about Tilak Verma. Let's finish off the batters column with Rinku Singh. He only played the one game, which was the final, one ball, 4 runs. And what did he do with the fielding? I mean, was he okay in the final?
He took all the catches and got he covered all the every blade of grass that was in his reach. I would say. I think
So we should
again
give
the
him
same
a 10
thing.
out of 10 in that case.
Definitely a 10 out of 10. A team man, complete team man, and kudos to his manifestation skills. I'd say that he wrote that I'd scored the winning runs in the final, and he did.
Yeah,
Nobody knew that he's
yeah,
going to play or not, and we were pretty sure that he will play because he played most of the games coming into the um, England T20s before when he got sick in the first two or three
yeah.
games. After that, Dubé came in and all those things happened. But I'd say kudos to him being a team man and perfect fielder and got his chance and secured his moment. I'd say.
Yeah. I think Rinku is somebody who should have played more games, but again, you said how he manifested things. I think that's what helped him with how uncertain the positions and how uncertain the 11s are under Gambhir's tenure. So you could have never expected what would happen. So I think yeah, that was good on his part. And how much did you give Tilak? I forgot. Sorry.
Look, I'd say 8.5 out of 10. Maybe in that middle overs part, he needs to improve a bit.
Yeah,
The strike rotations against the spinners, but all in all, a very good show.
yeah. And 10 on 10 for Rinku because he only
Yeah,
played the one game and he did what he could, right?
because
So
exactly. He didn't do
yeah,
anything wrong. Whatever.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Sticking to the same theme, we'll talk about Jitesh. Didn't get a game again. We would just have to give him 10 on 10 because he didn't even get to play. I think at least he kept the vibe on. I saw some of the reels after the match, after the final. I think he did a good contribution there. So, yeah, 10 on 10 for Jitesh as well. Now, the last player in the batsman category, who's also a wicket keeper, Sanju Samson. What did you think of his Asia Cup? First of all, kind of unfair on him how he was pushed down the order. His favorite opening slot was taken away from him. Got one game at three, got a 50, was pushed down again. So kind of they toyed around with his batting position. Didn't get to bat in one of the games. So yeah, a lot of stuff happened with him. How would you rate his performance in the Asia Cup? And what would be your rating for him?
yeah. So Sanju, there are two aspects. First, we will talk about the keeping part, then we'll go to the batting because that could be a bit longer. So for the
Yeah,
keeping part, I think he was spot on in most of the parts, apart from one or two drop catches, which was, I think, kind of tough. But again, with the big gloves on, I think the skies are for you. So that is something that I think he may work on a bit more. I think he was brilliant keeping to the spinners as well as some of the catches that he took, like Fakar Zaman in the second game against Pakistan. Like that was one of the very very good catch because it almost died on him before he got the glove under the ball. And down the left side, he stopped a lot of runs and all those things. I think he was pretty good with the wicket keeping. But apart from the two drop catches I see, and also very helpful in the reviews. One of Kuldeep Yadav, I think it was final Shine Shafiri. He was pretty confident. Last 2 or 3 seconds they took, and uh, there were three reds in the marker. So that's it. I think keeping part 10 on 10, 9 on 10, and the batting. Now the batting is again. I think it is not entirely the problem of the player, but again we need to pinpoint some things like getting used to the pace of the wicket. I think an experienced campaigner like Sanju, I think he can be a bit, he can be better in that. I think in the final as well, he kind of got stuck at some points. Although he bailed out by hitting a boundary or a six in most of those situations. Again, but I think there were some moments where he could have played better, I'd say. Again, in the Oman game, I think he took a long time to set in 56 of 43 or 45, I think. Those are the kind of innings that people used to abuse, or you can say criticize Virat Kohli for in the recent past, if you ask me. So, if that is the case, then I say, okay, that innings was also not very convincing given he was batting at three in that game. But again, they toiled around with his position. I think the Sri Lanka game was kind of a perfect game for him, Sanjay. Batted well, 39 of 23, I think. He got smacked two or three sixes of Hasaranga, rocked back to the back foot, pulled him for boundaries as well. I think that was kind of a perfect game for him. But again, in the final, I think he could have done a slightly better. Although, given the situation of the game, he played it really well. Didn't give his wicket away and bailed India out of trouble. Though I feel he could have played a longer innings and killed off the game.
So, what would be your final rating for him?
Sanju Samson, given all the noise around him and everything, I'd give him a 7 out of 10. Given it's a bit unfair on him as well because every day you are asked to perform a new role. And be it be anyone as talented as Sanju, it becomes difficult, I'd say.
I think for me also that was the one aspect where I wanted a bit of consistency. See, you have demoted him to down the order, which is okay because that's how you want your team to be, and you are just replacing personnel based on the positions that you want to fill in, which is okay. You want to give Sanju a fair run in the middle order, do with that. And I would also like, I was very happy that at least he was in the team. It's not like you just kicked him out of this 11, right? Now that you have decided that he's going to bat middle order, there was no sense in batting him at number three, right? Because if he's batting at number three, Sky bats four, Tilak bats five, or whatever the vice versa, which is too low a number for both those guys. You won't get the best out of them. We saw Tilak batting in the middle order for Mumbai Indians, and that cost them a lot of games. It cost him his form, right? Whenever Tilak bats at three or at max four, that's where you get the best out of him. Same goes with Sky. So now that you have these two guys slotted in there, again, same goes for Sanju Samson as well. But because of the team combination, and you don't want to drop a Sky, you don't want to drop a Tilak Verma, because they are your players who are going to play for sure. And now, if you have removed Sanju from the top order, play him at number five, give him 1-2 series, and see how it does. If it works out, well and good. If it doesn't work out, then just swap in a Rinku or a Jitesh if that's the case. Yeah, you would have to go for a Jitesh because you need a keeper. But yeah, do whatever, do that kind of thing. But don't toy around with the batting order too much because, like I said earlier, it is okay against these kind of teams who doesn't even possess enough strength to challenge you. But if there is a team which is equal to you, or maybe at least 90% of you, they can really be giving you a lot of trouble uh, if this kind of situation arises. Because, see, uh, I think Pakistan was 113 for 1 in 13 overs, and they were all out for 146. So
Yeah,
this kind of thing you don't see from. generally you don't see from Sena countries. Okay, if you give this much amount of an opportunity to somebody like that, they are going to finish off at 200. So that is something that we really have to be careful about. So, and that in turn will put pressure on your batting. And if it is not stable, then it could cost you games. So that is something that we really need to work upon. I think the decision making process, and I think yeah, that's something that should help us. So moving on, we'll move on to the all rounder section. So the three guys that we need to discuss here, of course, Tilak Verma also you can consider as an all rounder, considering he bowled a bit, but yeah, that's done. We'll talk about Hardik Pandya, Shivam Dubey, and Akshay Patel. Let's start with the big one, Hardik Pandya. I think I want to give my rating first, even though I haven't watched the India Pakistan games. You know, Hardik Pandya, whenever he goes into a tournament, you hear about Hardik Pandya a lot. I think this was the first time in a long time where you didn't hear much about Hardik Pandya. So I felt he kind of had a underwhelming tournament. Also, the injury leading him to miss the final. I think that was very concerning for me. Although I read the reports that it's not something great for us to worry about. He should be back. He should be back soon. But it's kind of concerning for me because see, he was supposed to be the captain, right? That opportunity was taken away from him because citing these injury concerns, and now he's injured, almost proving them right. What I'm worried about is what shape he would be going into the 2027 World Cup because that is the bigger fish than the 2026 World Cup. So yeah, that kind of really concerns me.
Yeah. So there are two things about it. I think the injury thing. I don't think it is a much of a concern. It was mostly a cramp. I think first over he bowled and he got a cramp, and I don't know. Means he could not pass the fitness test. It seems on the match day, and that's why it was a kind of a precautionary measure that you don't risk him, given there is a long chain of games that we are going to play. We're going to play in Australia. I think 13 or 14 T20s we have into the lead to the World Cup in 6 months' time, which is at home. So I think that was smart from the management that they didn't risk him in the final, and uh, and the part that his uh, participation chances in the upcoming 2027 World Cup, I think they are mostly secure. I don't think something drastically wrong happening to him. And he's also a very smart customer, given his body. And last, because he selectively bowls, that is okay, that is smart from his side. But again, on the contrary, it again causes some imbalance to the dynamics of the side. So that is something also that we need to discuss. Now, to talk about his performance, I think I really don't understand how they used him as a bowler, as a batter. I really don't understand because see, I have been very clear about these things that you need a proper bowler who can bowl in the power play. If Hardik Pandya is the best man to partner with Bumrah, I don't think it is true. Okay, in some games it's fine, uh, like as you said, these teams don't offer India very healthy competition. So here you can experiment. Okay, that's fine. You bowled him in some games, but again, I don't understand that why he's your death bowler. I really don't understand because he doesn't have the great numbers at the depth, at least in the IPL. What my memory serves. Last year also we saw. This year I don't think he bowled a lot. Last year I think you remember that CSK game where Dhoni took him to the cleaners in the last over, and that completely changed the equation of the game. Like 23 or 24 runs in the last over, and it flipped the game the other way. So all these things are there that needs to be taken care of, I'd say. And as a batter, also, I think one day he was a bit unlucky. He got run out at the non-striker's end, the straight drive, taking the fingers of the bowler. And one game, I think he got some runs, but that were not too convincing against, I think it was Bangladesh, 30 of 20 or 30 of 22, something like that he got. But not that convincing given Hardik Pandya. So I think The batting positions also need to be managed. His entry points need to be managed bit well. And all in all, not a very good show or not a very bad show. I'd say just about decent. So kind of 5 out of 10 performance for him, the star man.
Yeah, I mean, also why it's kind of disappointing is we expect a lot from him. As you mentioned, he's a star campaigner, and yeah, I certainly hold him to a very high standard. The way we hold, let's say, a Virat Kohli or a Rohit Sharma. So I see him on the same lines, and I always wish Hardik Pandya to do well. So I was kind of disappointed, but yeah, I mean that's what life is. So yeah, let's move on and let's talk about Akshay Patel. I think even Akshay Patel also kind of disappointed me in this tournament. Also, as you mentioned, he probably didn't get enough bowling time, as you were mentioning. I felt, Akshay Patel also has a bigger role to play in the World T20, considering how the combination is going to shape up. And I think this is something that I want to talk about when we go to the bowling part. So I'll just keep my thoughts short here. I do think we have to kind of worry about what kind of combination we go into. Asia Cup, as I mentioned so many times before, should not be a criteria for selection. It can be a criteria for rejection. Because again, if you don't perform against these teams, so I don't know what you're gonna do, right? Not saying Akshay Patel should be removed from the 11 or something like that, but there are certain new chain of thoughts that I have, which I think let's explore towards the end of this video. Uh,
Yeah,
what was your thoughts on Akshay Patel?
I think he bowled decently in whatever chance he got, but I think the batting somehow didn't show the fire that he usually shows. Maybe that was because of the positions or maybe because of the entry points, but I don't know because the Sri Lanka game was a perfect tailor made for him. I think he came in at the 17th or 16th over mark with 3 or 4 overs to go, but he just could not lash on. Apart from the last ball six, it was a very slow show 15 or 14, and the last ball he smashes for a six. These are few things that I see because we are all very clear about the his prowess with the bat, how good a batter he is uh, for India as well as Delhi Capitals in the last 4 or 5 years. He has been just terrific. So I think the batting aspect, I think he could have done a bit more with the chances that he got. But also again, I'd not blame him a lot because those are the finishing part again. Some days it comes off, some days it doesn't come off. So yeah, so kind of a dull, very mid tournament for him. Again, a 5 out of 10 performance as a whole. Because if I give him good ratings for the bowling, but I need to cut those for the batting. So kind of it balances it out.
Yeah, yeah, true. Now, then we move on to what people are calling him now is God Dubey. So, whatever T20I matches he has played for India, India has won all of them, and he continues his 100% strike rate. Again, he was the best all rounder for India in this Asia Cup. That is for sure. Considering how poor Hardik and Akshat have been overall, Shivam Dubey's numbers look even more better. And I think both of us were skeptical going into the tournament. For us, I think the context was a bit different. We weren't talking about this tournament, but we were talking about T20I cricket in general, like how he would perform on good wickets. So that's a slightly different context to where the Asia Cup was played. But regardless, I think Shivam Dubey has proved his worth as an all-rounder, and for that, I think we should just applaud him, right? And he was definitely hands down our best all-rounder. So how would you rate his performance?
I think quite underwhelming with the bat until the final. I think he scored a total of 50 runs out of his 33 came in the final, which is not his fault, I'd say. But all in all, a good performance in the final with the bat as well as with the ball. Now, the bowling part, I think that was something that we need to highlight because he bowled really smartly given the conditions, slower balls into the wicket cutters, using his height, And even yesterday in the final, I think he used the new ball pretty well. And 2 overs, none for 12, I think he got out of the power play with. So that was really good to see that uh, he is using his entire skill set as a cricketer, which is a very good thing. Also, one thing like I'd like to mention that you said that how is he going to come on the good wickets. The thing about Shivam Dubey, I like his in last 2 or 3, 4 years, whatever years he has played with CSK. What MS has clearly done to him, if you see closely, as a batter, he has become a very good percentage player. He takes his matchups very seriously. If you see, if it is in his slot, if the bowler is of his liking, or you can say however you can call it, if it is favorable matchup, more often than not, you will see Shivam Dubey bossing that part, and that is the best part about his game. I feel as a batter. So this is something I'd like to say that Shivam Dubey did play the percentage cricket really well, especially in the final, and also that six to Haris Rao. I think in the 18th over, I think that completely changed the tide of the game. So all in all, a good show by Dubey, and I hope he keeps up the form going into the World Cup or the further games to the World Cup. I'd say
So what would be your final rating for him?
7 out of 10. I'd say maybe he could have been used more both in both the departments, but whatever chances he got, I think he did well. Maybe could have done a bit better with the bat again, especially in the Bangladesh game, because that was one matchup that was in his favor. That's why he was sent out to bat earlier than Samson or a Tilak or a Sky himself. But it could not
Yeah.
work out. But apart from that, I think he did really well.
Yeah. So that brings us to the bowling department. I think let's start with Harshit Rana. Got, I think, one game, didn't do much, was taken away for plenty of runs.
He got two games.
Has a lot. Two, he got two.
Yeah, he
Which one
got
was the other one?
Oman game also he played, the third last group game,
And
and the Sri Lanka game.
okay, okay, okay. So he played two games. Yeah, sorry, my bad. So yeah, I think he was taken for plenty of runs. But again, how would you rate his performance? I think he showed a lot of potential though, but again, it just doesn't feel right, you know?
The See, there are I have a couple of positives about Harshit Rana. One thing, the pace is up. I saw him bowl 150 at
Yeah,
49.6
yeah,
for
that's exactly
150.
that. That's something that made me really
That's
happy.
something that,
That's why I
yeah,
said he showed a lot of potential.
he is putting in the hard yards. Second thing is the problem that we are going to face in the lead up to the World Cup is that number 8 batter or a bowler. Means either you play an extra batter to compromise the bowling, or you play an extra bowler to compromise the batting length. So I think he is the perfect piece who can fit into that number 8 role. Also, uh, and that also I think helps the combination of the team going forward. Reason being, you don't need to bowl him in the power play. When the ball gets slightly older, then you can go get him in, because you're trying out a Pandya and a Bumrah with the new ball. So also someone like a Varun and a Nakshar can chip in with the over to complete the power play. Then this guy can come in and bowl his overs, or however you like it, or maybe you could develop him into one bowler. All he can use the long handle to his potential. I believe that is the reason why they are pushing him a lot. That's what we have been hearing from the Australia test tour, like from last year, that Harshit Rana can bat, Harshit Rana can bat, Harshit Rana can bat. Although we saw some glimpses in IPL this year, as well as in the game against Oman, he scored some 11, 12, 15 runs, some runs against England in the series, home series as well, with the bat. So all in all, I'd say Harshit Rana can be a good addition. At least keep him in the mix if you have trusted him so much. With the ball, one problem I see, which I have with uh, these new fast bowlers, they try the slower ones a lot, and I don't understand why. Every second ball can't be a slower ball. Just it can't happen because the batsman is also guessing, right? And good batsman will eventually pick this thing. Every second ball
Yeah,
can't be a slower ball, and I think that hurt him a bit in the Sri Lanka game, I believe, because Nisanka was perfectly guessing what the next ball is going to be, whether it is a pace on or a pace off delivery. And I think of the pace off balls, he smashed three sixes. So that completely altered the game in their favor. So this is something that I'd like to see do like to see Harshit do better going into the further games that he plays.
yeah. I also felt the same way. So this is where I actually wanted to, kind of pitch in with respect to different combinations that we could explore. So as you mentioned, right, with Hardik Pandya as one of our designated death bowlers, it kind of doesn't serve our purpose, right? So maybe you would have to play an Akshar Patel. So that Arshdeep Singh rather. You would have to play an Arshdeep Singh so that you have Bumrah, Arshdeep, and Hardik as your three genuine pace bowlers. Along with, and maybe at that point of time, you might have to compromise a spinner, either of Kuldeep or Varun plays along with Akshar. So that is something you have to do. Or this is the alternate route where you have to go, that you play both the wrist spinners, you play Bumrah, and instead of Akshar Patel, if you could play a Harshit Rana, then that kind of gives you that edge where you have your three seamers and two top quality spinners. So that is where they could probably, kind of edge Akshar Patel out if Harshit Rana starts to come good. So that was the combination that I was thinking of. I'm not saying this is the best possible combination or anything like that, but this is something that I could think of. It was kind of thought provoking for me because uh, see, with only Bumrah and Hardik as your two pacers, it does seem trouble. And I don't know how you could go in with three spinners in Indian conditions. Although that's something that we have been doing. If you look at the England series, also the series in South Africa, if I'm not wrong, that also I'm not sure if we played two or three spinners. I can't recall.
Then also we play
Uh,
three spinners. The
yeah,
point in South Africa was
but
in South Africa also. Uh, Earlier we used to play with both. I mean, Avesh Khan and Arshdeep Singh were playing. From the third or the last game, they changed. They brought Ramandeep Singh in at number eight,
mm,
and they pushed Avesh Khan out. But the point again is the South Africa side was also a depleted side. If you see the
yeah,
11s,
yeah,
maybe the batting was there, but bowling was not there. Something like that. The main bowlers were not there. Something like that. But again, that is up to them who they play. That is not in our hands. But the point being, uh, against full strength teams, you need two proper pacers, and especially in Feb, I think the World Cup is there will be due. There will be due for sure in the second half of the game. So there, I think you need to have an extra pacer. There, you can't go in with this three spinner and two pacer theory, and with one WW bowler, as you say. May it be a Abhishek Sharma, may it be a Shivam Dubey, may it be anyone.
exactly the point. And I think that is where the problem is. So you either have two pacers where Bumrah and Arshdeep are there, or you can have your two spinners. So that is where you have to take a call. You cannot simply have Kuldeep, Varun, Bumrah, and Arshdeep, all four of them in the same 11, because then that kind of depletes your batting lineup. What the problem there is, uh, if you have seven batters, then again the whole uh, how would I put it? The whole not agenda, your entire thought process, your entire batting with intent thing stems from the fact that you have batting till eight. So once you compromise batting till eight, how would your intent change? That is the big question that we need to answer.
I'll ask you one question here. Okay. Tell me one thing. How many runs did we put in this Asia Cup playing eight batters? Or let me put it in this way. How many runs did your number 6, 7, and 8 score in this Asia Cup when they were given a chance? Apart from the final, where Dubey, I think, scored some runs at number 6.
So See, there is a different way that I would like to answer this question. So for me, this Asia Cup was an exception rather than a rule. Why? Because we experimented a lot with our batting lineup. So for me, the consideration is what happened till the Asia Cup. So till the Asia Cup, our top order and all, they had this license to go, and they had this license to go only because they had batting depth. So that is the point for me.
Not exactly if I put it in that way. Reason being that only in that one series, in that span of 4 or 5 games, I think we scored a lot of runs. The last game against Bangladesh, where we scored 297 in Hyderabad, and the third and the fourth game against South Africa, 285, and the other was 220 or 225 something we scored. The third game. The both the games Tilak Verma scored 100, mind you. So what I try to say is I think we are emphasizing too much too much on the batting depth part. Reason being, we are seeing a lot of IPL cricket nowadays, or the league cricket. Let's talk to IPL. Let's stick to IPL. Now, IPL has the rule of that impact player, where you will always have one extra batter and an extra bowler, because that there is a substitution rule in there. But in international cricket, the problem comes out. How are you going to maintain the balance? You have to compromise somewhere. Either you have a proper 4 5 bowlers, whatever you say. In this way, also you are getting proper 4 bowlers only. Hardik plus Akshar will be your fifth bowler. Like earlier, it was Jadeja plus Hardik in most of the white ball tournaments, right? Same way, if you circle back, if you remove, uh, suppose a spinner you take out. Suppose you take out in the by the rankings you say Kuldeep, okay, he performed this tournament, he got more wickets, you can say, but I'd say Varun is a better has been a better bowler for us in the last 1 year. So let's stick with Varun. You take Kuldeep out, you bring in a Dubey as your sixth bowler and someone who can bat a little bit down the order whenever he gets a chance to. So tell me, is this swap completely justified given the type of performance Kuldeep put in with the ball? Or even if you take out Varun, does it guarantee that Dubey will score like a 30 ball 60 or something? Or do you need that much from the sixth batter
No,
or
but
the
then
eighth batter?
so your point is absolutely fair, and I think why I am coming from the other side of things is that is what we have done. So Arshdeep has been our Bumrah in T20 cricket. Now, was it fair on him to sit out?
No,
It was not. But we are,
I'm absolutely not in
yeah,
favor. That I am saying all the four should play. If you ask me, all the four: Varun, Kuldeep, Bumrah, and Jarsdeep, because that is the best bowling combination. I look into the things that I need to get 10 wickets. Simple. I need to get the
mm,
10 wickets as quickly as possible. Then I'm going to win the match, no matter how good the wicket is for batting. For that, I need my best bowlers to do the job. Kuldeep Yadav is having a fantastic run with the ball. Varun is in the form of his life. Bumrah is Bumrah. Arshdeep did have more than a decent season with the ball with the in IPL. His team played the final. He bowled really well, and I think the best part about him was he got a proper exponent of the reverse swing. If you see the situations where he came in and bowled, it would be the first game against Gujarat Titans at Ahmedabad, defending the score, or maybe the later games. He beautifully got the reverse swing into the place. So I think there is no reason why we are not playing with the combination just because of that 10, 10, 12 runs extra. This extra bowler can cut down the runs as well as get you 2 or 3 wickets. And I don't think it is any way unfair or anything wrong that I'm asking.
no, no, it's not. It's absolutely not. What I'm just trying to say is
Also,
we,
also,
hmm,
also one more thing. I think this might happen. Maybe the four bowlers that we are thinking will not be the same four bowlers, but this will happen. Reason being, you have two players in the 11 who can bat long. I mean, around whom the batting is going can revolve, like we used to have it in the past. There is a Shubman Gill that you brought in into the 11. Then there is Tilak Verma, who has already showed that he can play those temperament knocks. So I maybe that sounds conservative, but mind you, these 280, 270 things don't come in the World Cups. They're not going to
yeah,
happen. That is for
yeah,
sure.
that is for sure. That is for sure. We're not going to get those 270, 280s. I think the ceiling would be maybe 220 is the ceiling, I
220,
believe.
yeah. 220, yeah.
On bad days, it could go to 240, but not more than that, especially with the bowling that
Exactly.
you mentioned, Kuldeep, Varun, Bumrah, and Ashdeep. If you are conceding 240, then that means that has to be a better of a wicket, and your batsman anyway will have a good chance of chasing it. So that is for sure. But what I was saying is, you had this school of thought for eight batters, so you have to stick to that. What I don't like is what happened in the Asia Cup, where you are stuck in the middle. So you're not on this side, you're not on that side of a thing. That's where I have my problems. So even when you are batting first, you kind of had to forsake your aggressive intent in a lot of the cases. And even while chasing, I don't know what happened in the final, but looking at the scorecard, I saw 146 should have been done in 15 overs or at max 16 overs. If you look at the approach and how you have focused on your batting depth.
Exactly.
But since that hasn't happened, I mean, you go either of the two ways. You don't, kind of get stuck in the middle. That's my only concern.
That is my problem. See, the final also, I'd say that, okay, that there were not a lot of runs, maybe casual batting. Abhishek, I don't blame, but Surya and Gill, the execution was horrible. Same for Sanju as well. The three batters, although Sanju bailed us out from trouble, but again, I'd say that it was, by his standards, it could have been executed way better. Especially it was a spinner bowling into him. So that is one point. Again, the thing, that school of thought thing that you are saying, it might sound absurd, but I'd say is, whom did we score those big runs against? Apart from that one game against England in Mumbai where Abhishek took down everyone to the cleaners. 240, I think we scored in that game. 240, 250. What did we score? 240, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever we
Yeah.
scored. No, 140 he scored and 250 or something we scored, I guess. The last
Mm.
game at Mumbai. That series was done and dusted. Apart from
Yeah.
that, don't you think we scored those runs against not the top bowling sides? If I
That is
look
true.
into the 11 strictly, if I look into the bowling lineups of the opposition strictly, don't you
That is
think
true.
that thought, those numbers kind of be influenced by that aspect as well?
Absolutely.
And if that
Absolutely.
is,
There's no
if that
denying
is
that.
the thing, if that is the thing, then we also need to think in the way that coming the big tournament, that is not going to be the case. So you need that adaptability. You need that
Oh,
adaptability, right? Again, all and all, that is the same thing that I said. You put in the batting till number eight. In none of the games you could score. That is my problem. Okay, you can say the Dubai conditions were not good, but we could not even manage 180 properly. 168 against Bangladesh, 180
yeah.
against Oman, right? 170 chase, I think we did comfortably against Pakistan, and 200 barely we managed against Sri Lanka, right? After a start that we had like 113 for 110 overs. From there we crumbled to 202 barely. Some last over heroics. So that is something that I think needs to be highlighted, because if you are focusing so much on the batting depth, things are not coming. The results are not coming, because the Sri Lanka game, the batting order was also perfect. Not that the batting order was an issue, or Sri Lanka had some kind of a terrific bowling lineup like a Malinga or a Murali coming in. Not like that as well. Hasharanga was playing with a side strain and all those things. So these are the things that needs to be taken into consideration as well, in my opinion. So for me, if you ask, I'd say play your best bowling attack, so that
Mm.
in no way the opposition can get a hold of you. Again, you see the final, na? 113 for 0. Both the spinners come in. They absolutely rattle the wickets, run through the game. Akshar Patel picks up 2 wickets. Kuldeep picks up 4. Varun picks up 2. 8 wickets in a span of like 10, 50, 20, 25 runs. The game
Yeah.
is done. And Bumrah comes in to clean up the tail. So that's
Yeah,
how. I
true.
mean, the bowling, if your bowling attack is on point, in most of the games you are going to do the job.
I think if that is the case, then I think we would definitely go in with proper seven batters in that case. Of course, Hardik will be
Yeah,
one. And and in that case, it should be a toss up between Akshar and Dubey. So you won't be having both, I believe.
No, Akshar will play. Na? What is the problem with Akshar? I think Akshar didn't do anything
See,
wrong.
if you're locking in your four options, the four bowlers, Bumrah, Arshdeep, Varun, and Kuldeep, right? So look at from the top. You have Abhishek, you have Gill, you would have Surya, you would have Tilak, and Hardik. So five plus four, nine are locked.
Keeper. Keeper is
One
there.
will be your keeper. It will be either Samson or Jitesh. So that leaves only one spot, right?
I mean, Akshar has not done anything wrong. If you are not going to ask him to bowl, then what he can do? He can't run away with the ball and start bowling, right? It
So
is
so that's
something
how
up to
it's
the
going to be,
captain.
right? It's
And
going to be a toss up
also,
between the two. It's going to be a
yeah,
toss up between the two of them.
see, if you ask me, it's like kind of very unethical. If you what you did with Sanju Samson was also unethical. If you ask me, to keep changing him all throughout the tournament, his batting positions and his uh, role in the side is undefined. I don't know what is happening. But again with Akshar Patel, you made him the vice captain. Okay, because see, ideally Hardik Pandya should have been the captain after the World Cup because he was your vice captain in a winning campaign of your World Cup. All of a sudden, you snub
He
him
was the
out.
captain before, and he was the captain before as well,
Yeah, yeah,
before
and he
the
has a good
tournament.
record as well. IPL winning captain as well. Captains the Mumbai Indians. Got a very decent head on his shoulders as a captain. I don't think. Uh, okay, the fitness issue or whatever you told. Then you snubbed him out entirely of your leadership group. You bring in Akshar Patel for the, I think it was the South Africa series away, as well as in the Bangladesh series at home. He was the vice captain, Akshar Patel. Then again, in the even in the home series against this one, did he play in the home series against England, Akshar Patel? I
Yeah,
don't think he
yeah.
did. He played.
He did.
Okay,
No, he did. We had three spinners. Yes,
okay. Akshar was also there. So
Bishnoi,
Akshar was
Bishnoi, Akshar, and Varun.
Varun was there, correct. So you played him as the vice captain. Now all of a sudden you snub him out. You don't ask him to bowl. You don't give him an option to bat. Then how it is the player's problem fault? It is you who are not able to manage your resources. Then you say that you are a bad resource, so we are dropping you. It's not fair. It's unethical, if you ask me.
Again, I think
So
it's going to come down to the combination.
Akshar Patel, if you are thinking of pushing him out, there is only one candidate in the entire system that can come in. That is Washington Sundar, who I was expecting in the squad, but it didn't happen somehow.
No, but then see why I was saying this is if you have four bowlers locked, then your number seven has to be more of a batsman than a bowler, which I think Sundar in Sundar's case is not correct because he's kind of more of a bowler than a
Oh, I
you know
mean,
batsman
how
bowler.
can you say that after the show, after Washington's show with the bat in England?
No, I agree with that. But I would think at that position you need somebody who would tong the ball from ball number one. So Akshar,
See,
I think
that's what I'm.
of the three, I would go in with Akshar. But of late, how the wind has kind of flown, I think if we go in with four bowlers, then Akshar would be the one who could lose his spot to Shivam Dube. But again, that's a problem for some other day. Let's continue with the ratings and let's finish off this video. I think it was a very good, thought-provoking experiment that we did with how the team could pan out for the World T20. We'll see in the upcoming days how it happens. I think the next T20 series, I'm really looking forward to see what sort of a combination we go in with. I think introduction of Gill has changed a lot of things, and this Asia Cup has also changed a lot of things. So let's see how it happens. But yeah, let's move on to our squad ratings. Only the bowlers are left. Let's go in with Arshdeep. What did you think about Arshdeep's Asia Cup?
I think he played two games and bowled well, not well, because 10.3 or 10.4 is economies. But I think good thing is about him was he came good in the crunch situations, especially against in the last over against Oman there, and again in the last two overs against Sri Lanka. He bowled really well, kept them tight, and also bowled really good over in the super over. Although he should not have appealed there, if he should not have appealed, then the match would have been ended in two balls itself. But anyways, It didn't cost anything to India because Shanaka went got out the next one itself. So I think all in all, it could have been a better tournament for him had he played. I think it's a bit unfair on him, just like Sanju Samson or Rinku Singh, to miss out because he didn't do anything wrong, if you ask me, in the Indian jersey or even for his club side to find himself out of the 11, especially when he's your highest wicket taker in this format in international level. So I think yeah, they could have managed him bit well, but I think he is going to play in the games coming forward because we play in Australia and maybe we South Africa travel to India, and in those conditions, I think you need two proper seamers in there. So I think he will play going forward. So looking forward to him. So Arshdeep, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Reason being the high economy part. Otherwise, he was really good.
Yeah. Let's move on to our spinners. Or before moving on to our spinners, let's wrap up with Jasprit Bumrah. That will wrap up our pace bowling department, and then we'll go to the spinners. Let's talk about Bumrah.
About Jasprit Bumrah, I'd say is I think the continuity does help a bit. Continuity does help him a bit, and not playing the games in between, I don't think helps his cause because first game he played, he bowled. He was kind of bowling a lot of slower ones. Then again against in the Pakistan game, I don't think he bowled that. He bowled a lot, but he was kind of decent on the first game against Pakistan. Third game he didn't play. Fourth game, I think against Pakistan again, they took him down a bit. So that is something because again, trying a lot of these cutters and all. Maybe he was also in the experimentation mode. Sri Lanka game I didn't play. Bangladesh game was the ball was coming out beautifully from his hand. Again, the Sri Lanka game he missed. Then again comes back in the final. First over, I think he got it completely wrong. Like the lens and all. Saif Zada Farhan took a toll on him, but again in the death overs again we saw his prowess. Two balls, two wickets, completely matched it for Pakistan. So I think not to judge him a lot, as you said, this tournament should have been a cause for should have been a criteria for rejection than rather than selection. So all I'd say is, all in all, continuity will help for him going forward. I think he should play all the white ball games that we have, especially the T20 games that we have in lead up to the World Cup. Like 13 or 14 of them in 6 months, I think it's not that big of an issue or that big of a concern given the workload or whatever problems that they state with him every time. So just
Uh,
book of the 7 out of 10, I'd say, because those lofted standards are set by him only. So I don't think we should challenge it. 7 or 8 wickets, I think he got at an economy of 7.4, which I think is kind of decent. If we grill it down too much, I don't think we are fair on him.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And also, that also happened because of the way he was being used, as you already covered previously. I think that also played a part in him not being at his best. And
Yeah,
yeah, let's move on to our spinners. Varun Chakravarti. I personally felt he was phenomenal, although the wickets might not suggest the same. I didn't see the Pakistan games, but apart from that, whatever games I saw, he was extremely good. Plenty of catches were dropped off him. That is for sure. He always put the pressure on the batters. I think we saw this in his KKR days as well. So he's the one who puts pressure, and then the spinner on the other end or the fast bowler on the other hand tends to get the wickets. So that kind of I think has happened again with Varun, but I think he's been doing his job very well and phenomenal performance for me at least from what I saw.
yeah. And all I would say is Varun has been excellent from the time he has been playing, means the second stint, like from last year or so, he has been phenomenal with the ball for India, may it be ODI or may it be in the less number of ODI games, whatever he played for a team, and all the T20 has rank one in the format. I think Varun has been phenomenal, and the ball is coming out beautifully from his hand. And maybe the fielder should support him a bit more. All I'd say is, and 5 or 6 catches were dropped of him. 7 wickets only, I think he got at an economy of 6.9 or 6.8, which is really good bowling in the middle overs, given it's a T20 game. And also, the best part about him was he created those chances in the crunch moments. If you see this game, first wicket was taken by him, 86 or 83. Pakistan were for none at the end of 9 overs, I think, and he got the wicket of Saizada Farhan. Then again, the second breakthrough was second or third wicket of Fakhar Zaman, I think, back to back he got after Kuldeep got rid of Saimayu. So I think that is really good at his part, if you ask me. And maybe the fielders could have helped him a bit more, and that could have, I think, boosted up his numbers. All in all, a very good tournament for him. 8 on 10 performance, I'd say.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the final players on our list, who is none other than Kuldeep Yadav. I mean, what a phenomenal tournament he's had. 17 wickets in 7 games. Crazy, crazy numbers. I think so. The discussion that we had earlier, he's the one who forced us to have it. I think probably before the Asia Cup, we were quite comfortable with the setup that we already had. Although you were raising so many times that we should have two spinners, but kind of that debate has has gained a lot of weight, especially considering the performance that he's put in this Asia Cup. So that gives you more kind of weightage to talk about it, and kind of see that four good bowlers, the combination that we talked about.
See,
So yeah,
for me,
tell us about this
so
Asia Cup.
yeah. So for me, it has always been the past data on how I look into the things, how it pans out in the subcontinent when we play in a T20 World Cup. So back in the days, first time when did we play? In the Sri Lanka, I think 2012. Who won the tournament and who played the finals? It was
West Indies
Sri
and Sri
Lanka
Lanka.
versus West Indies. West Indies, who did they have? The winners. They had Sunil Narayan and Samuel Badri. Brilliant spinners. Both of them wicket taking spinners. Who did Sri Lanka have? Rangana Herath, Ajanta Mendes. Ajanta Mendes, the master of mystery spin. Rangana Herath, a veteran. Again, uh, when we went to 2014, we had Ashwin and Jaddu. And also, I think we had Amit Mishra. Uh, he played few games, I think. Not sure whether he
Yeah,
played the
but
final or
wasn't
not.
part of the regular line. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember whether he played the final or not. But we had two spinners, Ashwin and Amit Mishra, if you consider in that way. Then again, Sri Lanka had Herath and this guy, Mendes. So again, in 2016, India, West Indies won. They also had two spinners, Adil Rashid and Moin Ali were with England. So you need to have two good spinners who bowl well in a combination. Not saying that Akshar Patel or Washington Sundar can't do those things, but lately, if you ask me, I think no other team in the world has this kind of a combination on possible for them. Varun and Kuldeep. I mean, they're phenomenal bowlers. Both of them are Westley spinners. Chinaman is such a rare talent to have, and the talent that Kuldeep possesses is out of the world. I think Mr. Deepak Goyal, I think, first umpire, the channel. So he told a very beautiful line about Kuldeep Yadav, that Kuldeep Yadav can't be, if we play him smartly in most of the games that we play, he can be our next Shane Warne. He's that good a talent. And I think I completely agree with him. Because, I mean, what else? He was brilliant for Delhi Capitals till the time he was fit. I think 12 wickets at a under six economy with the kind of rules that we have in the IPL and the conditions that we have, it's out of the world. Then after that,
especially
what
Delhi,
shoulder
especially Delhi,
the yeah, and after the shoulder issue that he
small ground.
had, then yeah, then it all went south for Delhi. Then again, coming into the Asia Cup, we that combination thing that we were thinking about, how good these two will complement each other. That is the best part coming into the game. Kuldeep will set up, Varun will reap the rewards, or it's vice versa. This time it was Varun who set it up all the time, and Kuldeep reaps the reward. If you see the games closely, Varun will come in, bowl in an over of 5 or 6 runs with beating the batsman 2 or 3 times in an over. Next over, Kuldeep comes in, they try to hoik him, get the top edge, get the wicket. Or that has been the story of the Asia Cup if you see closely. So Kuldeep Yadav alone As a bowler, I'd say him rank him 9 out of 10. Maybe sometimes, some occasions where he could should not have given the flight too early in his spell, like the in the final in the first 2 overs when he gave it a lot of flight. So the batsman went out after him and connected as well. So he went for 2 overs, 23 for naught. Then again he pulled back the length, bowled smartly, 4 wickets in the next 2 overs. So that's something that he might need to work on when to give the flight. He has the beautiful deception of flight, but sometimes you need to know when not to use it. So that is the
Yeah.
only area of concern, I'd say. But as a combination, Varun plus Kuldeep, this is going to blow away teams, mind you, in the middle overs. Especially if we bowl first, game over for the opposition, no matter whom you play.
Yeah, I think in bold worst scenario, India has no problem at all. So regardless of the team that you face, also in that case, the extra batter theory doesn't kind of get impacted as well because you know what's the score in front of you, and then you can pace your innings accordingly. If it's a 240, you don't have any option. Anyway, you have to go out all guns blazing, right? So this extra batter theory only comes in. So again, this also makes me think: if we have four quality bowlers, we don't need to worry about not being able to defend low scores. Also, in that case, we can expect to defend low scores as well. We'll still be in the game. Why we always want those extra runs? Because we worry that maybe due or some other reason due to which we might not be able to defend. So I think that's the idea, but I think it's a great debate that we I'm sure are going to be having a lot as we go through to the World Cup. There are a lot of T20 guys, and I'm pretty sure looking at the history of Gautam Gambhir's tenure as the head coach, we are going to experiment a lot more. So I think we have to prepare for that.
Yeah, I think the games against South Africa are the key because South Africa, I think we play 4 or 5 T20Is at home in late November or November sometime. Not sure of the dates. So I think that is the key, and need to see how we manage them. Australia, I think we play 3 T20Is away, but again the conditions are drastically different. Huge grounds in Australia, almost no dew. So because it is summer for them, so we don't know what happens there. So completely different things. So I think that is something that we can see. But again, I'd stick with my plan of four proper bowlers plus Akshar and Hardik as my sixth and fifth bowler. Required, whoever required will bowl a bit. Also, extra bowling option. Wow, okay, you can make a case that Abhishek Sharma or Tilak Verma can bowl a bit as well. So we might fit in an extra batter in place of someone in the from the lower in out of Arshdeep or a Kuldeep. Now Kuldeep is not going out, so it has to be Arshdeep or a Harshit Rana, whoever is the number 8 player for you. But I don't know how it is going to change because how many runs do you expect from that number 8 and how it is going to interchange with the correlate with the wickets column of the main bowler
The
is
player that
going
you
to
are
be a
replacing, yeah.
it is going to be a point of discussion because if you play Harshit Rana, you don't get the power play overs. So in that case, Hardik needs to bowl a bit in the power play with Akshar or Varun bowling a over or two. If you play Arshdeep, everything is sorted. 2 overs from him, 2 overs from Bumrah, everything is sorted. Don't need to worry about Hardik's overs. Hardik or Akshar can you are very free to use how their overs in that case because Arshdeep is a terrific bowler with the new ball as well as after that. Same with Bumrah. So that is a big headache off your head, I'd say. And does that extra batter, that whatever 20 runs you add, correlate with what this player brings onto the table, be it a Harshit Rana or be it especially Arshdeep, not Harshit Rana. Harshit Rana is a secondary option. It's a stopgap solution kind of a thing. You kind of try to maximize everything, best of everything, bit of batting, bit of bowling, bits and pieces, you can say. But
Hmm.
Arshdeep, I think, if Arshdeep comes in, you know, you're in for a
I
good
think for
bowling
us,
performance.
I think I would like to conclude this video also, and also at this point by just saying that it's not going to be very easy for us to just objectively look at things as in how many runs the number 8 scores or how many wickets the number eight bowler if you're playing a pure bowler picks. Because again, it also depends on how they play into the overall combination of the team. Like you mentioned, Harshit Rana, sorry, let's say Arshdeep is playing. He might not pick up those wickets, but still he sorts out your problems, which means using Bumrah at his perfect position, using Hardik and Akshar as per your will. So that adds on to your bowling. Again, having a number eight ka cushion frees up your batsmen so that they can go maybe the extra bit harder. Maybe that will give each of them 10 runs more. You can't actually quantify this. Again, there are many ways to win a cricket match. I think for us, we are going to be talking about the way we say things. And yeah, what happens, we'll just break it down for you. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, we'll just share our opinions. And I think as viewers, you are also open to share your opinions. So yeah, on that note, I think we are all set. I would like to close this video. We gave the Asia Cup ratings for all our Indian players, and also we discussed a bit about the World Cup. And of course, we are going to be continuing this discussion as and when the T20I series come up, one after the other. But before we continue that, the next slot is the Test series, which is going to be happening between India and West Indies 2 days from now. On Thursday, the first test starts. One is in Ahmedabad and the other is in Delhi. So we'll at the end of the test match, we'll come up with the review for that test match. Again, in test series also, there are a lot of things for us to look forward to. There are going to be certain changes. We would probably see a potential number three locked in this series because it is India, and I think the performance is going to matter a lot. Again, this is also going to be a series of rejection rather than selection. So whoever plays has to be very careful so that they have to perform. If they don't, it's going to be a bit tricky for them to come back into the side. So, so that's going to be the case. Also, the Women's World Cup has already started. It is India and Sri Lanka women who are playing the first game, and Indian women are going to comfortably close out this game. 269 for 8 they scored, and Sri Lankan women are 184 for 8. So let's hope what our boys in blue couldn't do in 2023, our women in blue would be able to do this year. So on that note, we end this video. Hope you like this one. Be sure to comment your thoughts about the Asia Cup, the Women's World Cup, the India versus West Indies Test Series, whatever you feel like. So be sure to comment. Hope you like this video. Share it to your friends if you like that one, and subscribe to our channel if you think our content is worth it. So that's all. See you in the next one. Up until then, ciao.